Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the John Campea Show here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an honor and a privilege to have you joining with me here today. It is the weekend. It's Saturday. I am so glad the weekend is here. I've had a busy week. I've had a crazy busy week, a whole lot of screenings, a whole lot of stuff I had going on. I'm sure you guys had a lot of stuff going on, and you're glad that the weekend is here. Now, going to let you know the rundown of today's show. I've got a couple items in the world of movies and entertainment news that I want to talk about. Then I'm going to go to the questions and topics that you guys have sent in to me. Now, how do you get a topic or a question on the John Campea Show? It's simple. Just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's john@thejohncampeashow.com. Send on in your email, and this is important, guys. Make sure you put the word topic in the subject line. Once again, make sure you put the word topic in the subject line, or else I'm not going to see it. And also make sure you keep your email to 90 words or less. Otherwise, I won't read it because I wouldn't even be able to fit it on the screen even if I wanted to use it. Then, after I'm done taking those email topics that you guys send in to me, I'm going to go to the live viewers because we are doing this show live. And for those of you watching us live, you can send in some Twitter questions for me to address live near the end of the show. I'm going to save a few minutes at the end of the show to take your live questions. And here's how you get a live question on. If you're watching live, just tweet to me at John Campea. Start your tweet with at John Campea. And while you're at it, guys, make sure you're following me on Twitter at John Campea. And send that in, and I will pick out a few questions to read near the end of the show. Pretty cool thing is happening tonight. For those of you who have heard about it, Thomas Jane, of course, from the show Hung, he was also the original Punisher. How many of you guys saw his digital short Laundry Day? Anyway, Thomas Jane has this new horror movie that's a Netflix original called 1922. And they're premiering it tonight at the Scream Fest, the horror movie festival here in Los Angeles. And tonight, I am going to go and host and moderate that screening. And I'm going to do the Q&A with Thomas Jane and some of the other cast members from the movie. So I get to go and do that tonight. Hopefully, I'll get some pictures I'll be able to share with you guys later. But I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the trailer for that. It looks creepy as hell. I'm very excited about seeing it. Hopefully I get to see it before I go to do the Q&A. I'm going to try to watch it this afternoon if I can. All right, so with that out of the way, let's get to the first news topic of the day. And speaking about creepy things, a brand new trailer, from what I understand, the final trailer for Stranger Things Season 2 dropped online yesterday. Now, when it comes to Stranger Things, I'm going to admit, just like everybody else, I enjoyed the show. I liked the show Stranger Things. I binge watched the whole series in about 3 days. So I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. I didn't lose my mind over it. Like some people were completely like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, okay, it's cool that you feel that way. I don't. I think it's very cute and I think it's very clever and I think they do some very smart things and it's entertaining. Like I said, I watched the whole thing in about 3 days. I enjoyed it a lot, but I didn't think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but still, I'm looking forward to season 2. The first trailer was pretty good. I thought this trailer, though, blew that last trailer out of the water. I thought this trailer, if the job of a trailer is to get you interested in a movie or increase your excitement for a movie or a television show or whatever, then the trailer for Stranger Things Season 2, this new one, absolutely did its job. I thought it looked great. It looked like you got the tentacle monster from Watchmen in there, so that's clearly going to be one of the big, ominous, big evil threat this time. A lot of great shots. You bringing all the everybody's favorite characters are coming back. The kids are in fire. And let's call it what it is. This show is about these guys. This show is about these kids. All due respect to the sheriff, all due respect to the mom, all due respect to the teenagers and all that kind of stuff in the show too. Yeah, that's great. This show is about these guys. And these guys are what give the show all of its charm. And so they made sure they had the trailers, made it obvious the show is going to be about these guys again. And that's exciting and that's really good stuff. So while I liked actually, it's better than liked. I really liked the first season of Stranger Things. I didn't fall over myself in love with it, but I'm really excited about this season. What did you guys think about this new trailer? Are you looking forward to Stranger Things Season 2? Jump into the comments section and let me know what you guys are thinking. All right, let's move on to the next item here. This next item is interesting. So Thor Ragnarok is coming out. I've already seen the film. I'm actually going to see it again tomorrow. But Thor Ragnarok has come out. And one of the people everybody's talking about as far as like a breakout performance is Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie. You see her, she's all over the trailers. Well, anyway, she was telling this interesting story that I guess there must have been some kind of Marvel event, because Tessa Thompson tells this story about how she had this idea. She wants like an all-female superhero movie in the MCU put together. And so she said she approached Kevin Feige to talk about it, which is great. So first of all, you got to feel pretty comfortable. She's a first timer in the MCU to go up to Kevin Feige and pitch this idea for a movie. Well, Kevin Feige said this about what happened with Tessa Thompson. Kevin Feige says, it was pretty amazing. It was a pretty amazing moment to be somewhere and have your shoulder be tapped and turned around and find every female hero we have is standing there going, how about it? And I said, yes. So what's making its way around right now online is that Kevin Feige has confirmed that they're going to do an all-female MCU movie. Well, let's back it up a little bit. Kevin Feige was just telling a story. And, he's confronted with all these, powerful MCU women, and probably more than just the ones that I have here. Again, there must have been some kind of MCU event going on that had them all together. And they're all standing there and they're going, we want an all-female movie. What's Kevin Feige supposed to do? Say no? So he was over and said, yeah, sure. Do not take that as confirmation, though, at this point, that we're going to see a Black Widow, Wasp, Valkyrie, Lady Sif, whatever other major female heroes they've got running in there right now, or Scarlet Witch. Don't take that as confirmation that that movie is happening. But it does raise an interesting point. Like, there is a big movement right now for more female-based content. Because, let's face it, and there's nothing wrong with that, because everything is male-based. Everything is male-based. So every once in a while now, we see some movies going, hey, let's try making it more female-centric, and let's give that a shot and give it some equal opportunity. I'd be all for it. I'd be completely all for it. Give it a shot. See what it works. You got some great characters in there. A lot of people have been asking for a Black Widow movie. I am not one of the people who's interested in a Black Widow movie because I find her to be a very good supporting character that you can drop in just about any MCU movie, and she brings value, added value to every MCU movie she's in. But I find her to be the same as Bullseye, or Hawkeye, I mean. Hawkeye and Black Widow, to me, are great supporting characters in somebody else's movie. I think they both bring value and they both heighten the quality of a movie, but I'm not interested in a Hawkeye movie standalone. I'm not interested in a Black Widow standalone, but I think they're both very valuable characters to the MCU, much like the way Hulk has been used in the MCU, right? Like, Hulk hasn't been given his own MCU movie yet, but he keeps being used in various MCU films, and he brings value, and he's great. And I think Hawkeye and Black Widow are the same. But to see Black Widow and Wasp and maybe Scarlet Witch and Valkyrie, and I do think a lot of you guys are going to love Valkyrie and Thor Ragnarok, and characters like that into one movie, I think that could be pretty cool. I don't think it's actually going to happen, despite what Kevin Feige says. I don't think that's really how it's going to go down. I don't think that's what's going to transpire. But if for some reason we find out in a couple of months that Kevin Feige does announce we're going to do a team-up movie, and it's just going to so happen to be that the 5 characters in the team-up movie are all going to be female, and they're going to go on, we're going to explain narrative-wise how that comes about, and we're going to do a single-shot movie with the 5 of them in a group. I'd be totally fine with that. I'd be excited to see it. I think it would be kind of cool. But the big question is, would you be down for that? Do you think that's something that could work? Is that something that could succeed? Is that something that would even have your interest at all? Jump into the comments section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's go now to the email questions and topics that you guys have sent in to me. And we're going to start it off with Hendra Junie, who writes, with the recent positive reaction to Thor Ragnarok and the expectation and the hype for Avengers Infinity War, do you think Black Panther will be lost in the advertising/marketing mix? Will Black Panther's box office be affected by being placed in the middle of these two established MCU films? Well, thanks a lot for the question, Hendra. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, Black Panther, I was excited about a Black Panther movie because of the way he was treated in Civil War. The way they introduced us to the Black Panther character in Civil War, and Chadwick Boseman, man. I mean, come on. I mean, give me a break. And by the way, I just went to go see Marshall. I'm going to be putting my review for Marshall up a little bit later, and you're going to hear me talking a lot more. Anyway, so here, I thought Black Panther, I was excited about Black Panther just from his appearance in Captain America Civil War, which was great. Did not love this poster. This poster looks so faked in Photoshop, it's unbelievable. I can't believe Marvel actually put it out. I mean, it's a terrible poster. But then about 2 days or 24 hours after they put the poster out, that Black Panther trailer came out. And the Black Panther trailer is outstanding. Just an outstanding trailer. I love that trailer. Got my blood flowing. I was really excited about it. And there are a couple of different ways you can look at it from where the Black Panther movie is being situated. Being stuck in between Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War. And yes, all the buzz right now is about Thor Ragnarok because it's coming out in a few weeks. All the buzz is about Avengers Infinity War because it's this massive, it's one of the Avengers movies. It's the massive coming together of the entire MCU. However, you guys kind of know my theory on this. Thor Ragnarok, the buzz about it is that it's great. I said in my tweet, it is a relentlessly entertaining film. Everybody else who has seen it is tweeting that they love it. It's a very good movie. I can't give my review until the 19th, so all I can talk about is my tweet. My single tweet that I put out about it. But it's a very good movie, clearly, from all the tweets that are being put out about it. I think instead of overshadowing Black Panther, what I think the success of Thor Ragnarok will do, you guys know this is my theory. I think the success of Thor Ragnarok is only going to increase the excitement and potential for a Black Panther movie. Not only that, I'll go one step further. I think 2 weeks after Thor Ragnarok comes Justice League. I think Justice League is going to be a very good movie. So, what you're going to have now is you're going to have Thor Ragnarok and you're going to have Justice League. You're going to have these two big high-profile comic book movies come out. I know Thor Ragnarok's good. I believe Justice League is going to be really good. So you're going to get these two big blockbuster comic book movies, and then you've got a couple of months before Black Panther comes out. I think those two are only going to help Black Panther. I really do. So yes, there is the temptation to think it's going to get lost in the marketing and advertising. Well, yeah, but only because you're getting all the Thor Ragnarok marketing and advertising because the movie's opening in a few weeks. But after November 3rd, more specifically after November 10th, you're not going to see a whole ton of Thor Ragnarok marketing. After Thor Ragnarok's already been in the theaters for a week and a half, whatever, you're not going to see a whole lot of Thor Ragnarok marketing anymore. And you're going to have like 2.5 months of nothing but Black Panther marketing. So yes, right now, the Black Panther marketing is being overshadowed a little bit by the Thor Ragnarok marketing. Sure, yeah. But that's because Thor Ragnarok's coming out in a few weeks. Once Thor Ragnarok comes and goes, Marvel will then focus most of its attention on Black Panther. They'll certainly still put some of their marketing attention on Avengers Infinity War as well, but you're going to see them give a heavy push to Black Panther. So, no, I don't believe at all that Black Panther is going to get overlooked. I don't think it's going to get lost in the mix. I think Black Panther is going to do just fine. And by the way, I mean, look at the director they've got. Look at the cast they've got. Look at the marketing they've already put out. This movie, I think, is going to be killer. I think this has a potential to be like a top 7 or 8 best MCU movies. And when you look at the top 7 or 8 MCU movies, that's saying a lot. Anyway, thanks a lot for the question, man. The question is, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that Black Panther right now is being lost in the mix a little bit? Do you think, like I do, that that'll change after Thor Ragnarok comes out? Do you think Thor Ragnarok and Justice League will help Black Panther, or do you think they're going to hurt Black Panther? Jump into the comment section. I want to know your thoughts. All right, let's move on now to the next question. And the next question comes to us from Mary Kirk. And Mary Kirk writes, any thoughts about the new Coen Brothers / Clooney team-up Suburbicon? Hail Caesar wasn't very loved, but their overall body of work has been great. Are your hopes up for a return to form, or are you worried about a repeat? Well, thanks a lot for the question, Mary. And to say Hail Caesar was a little bit of a letdown is a bit of an understatement. So I love the Coen Brothers. And I love George Clooney. And I love Clooney working with the Coen Brothers. And I loved everybody else in the cast of Hail Caesar. And Hail Caesar looked like it could be, and I don't use this word often, but epic. That movie looked like it could be epic. And Hail Caesar sucked. It wasn't just a minor letdown. That was a bad movie. That was a poorly put together movie. And I got that they were trying to make a love letter to all the genre films of that golden era of Hollywood. And I picked up on that. I did. I saw what they were trying to do. But as a movie, just evaluating it as a film on its own, that was a terrible film. Maybe the worst one they've ever done. And here's what I'll say about Suburbicon, okay? I think the trailers have been pretty good. I've liked the trailers for Suburbicon. But if I'm going to be honest, even though I've liked the trailers for Suburbicon, I loved the trailers for Hail Caesar. And I got to admit, when I watch the trailers for Suburbicon, I can taste a little bit of Hail Caesar in it. You know what I mean? It's not enough that I can put my finger on it. I'm just an audience member. So it's not enough that I can really put my finger on it, but I can smell it. When I'm watching that trailer, and I like the trailer, but when I watch it, I'm feeling the presence of Hail Caesar a bit, you know what I mean? And I will admit, I am both looking forward to Suburbicon because it's the Coen Brothers, because you got Matt Damon in there, Clooney's working on it. You got, this incredible cast in there. But at the same time, I am worried about it. Not just because Hail Caesar was terrible, but because I'm getting this Hail Caesar feel about Suburbicon. And again, it's not enough for me to put my finger on it. It's not enough to keep me away from going to see it. I'm going to be there to see it the first opportunity that I get. But I am a little bit worried about it. What do you guys think? Are you worried about Suburbicon at all? Are you super excited about it? Should I be worried? I don't know. Am I overreacting to Hail Caesar? I don't know. Maybe it's me. Jump into the comments section. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Let's now move on to the next question. And the next question today comes to us from one of my Patreon supporters, Ian A. Barth. And Ian A. Barth writes, "Hi, John. My question is about MoviePass and how it could influence the box office. If enough people get MoviePass, that means that they would be able to watch every wide release movie that they wanted to that year, and then some. Could this potentially bump up box office numbers since people don't have to worry about their movie going emptying their pockets?" Well, thanks a lot for the question, Ian A. Barth. You know what? Since Ian is one of my Patreon supporters, let me take a second for my commercial break here and do my daily shameless plug of my Patreon. As you guys know, I left my corporate overlords. I no longer work for any corporations. I decided to go out on my own and do this on my own. That means having to dedicate my full time to it. And the only way I've been able to do that is because of the support of my Patreon supporters. Do me a favor, guys. If you like my content or spend, a number of hours every month watching my content, go on over to patreon.com/John Campea. There you'll get all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter of mine, how being a Patreon supporter helps me produce these shows, and all the benefits that come along with being a Patreon supporter. For instance, audio-only podcasts of the John Campea Show and Star Wars Talk Tuesdays are available to my Patreon supporters. We do, team member Patreon supporters, one-on-one live chats, not one-on-one. We do live chats with the team member level supporters. We have an exclusive Facebook group where we do a lot of Q&As in there. There's a whole bunch of advantages. Check it out and see if you want to become one of my Patreon supporters. If you do, that's awesome. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. I'm just glad you're here joining us on the show. All right, so let's get back to Ian's question now. We've talked a little bit about MoviePass, some of the advantages, disadvantages. I've been telling you guys, I've been having a pretty positive, even though I was pretty critical of them when they first launched it. I've been using it, and my experience with it now has been pretty positive. It's actually been very positive. I'll be honest. It's been very positive. I still think they completely botched their rollout, and that makes me a little bit worried about their competency as a company. But let's be fair. I've been using it, and it's been pretty damn good. So could theoretically, if this got big enough, if MoviePass got adopted by enough people, could it overall help the box office numbers everywhere? And the answer to that question is unequivocally yes, it could. If enough people start to use it. Because remember, when you use your MoviePass card, the movie theater is getting the full ticket price. They're just not getting the full ticket price from you. They're getting it from these guys. They're getting it from MoviePass. So that counts towards the box office. I've used my MoviePass card now about 6-7 times in the past 5 weeks. So that means in 5 weeks that's 2 months worth of membership. So I've spent $20 so far on MoviePass. But with about 7 movies at the average of $5 a movie, that means I've gotten about $85 worth of movie tickets. Okay. Or no, it's more than 85. It's 70, it's 105. I got $105 worth of movie tickets for $20. That's not bad. And if I use it more, that value goes up even more. But more importantly, when it comes to box office, that $105 of movie tickets worth of movie tickets I got, that does count towards the box office. So this is why some people in the theater industry are excited about a concept like MoviePass. Because if enough people get their hands on it and they get out to the theaters and use it, that does bolster the box office. Now, how MoviePass is going to make up that money, because they're the ones paying it to the theaters, I'm still not really clear on how they're doing it. I've got some ideas, but it's a little foggy at this point. But yes, absolutely it could work. I do recommend people give MoviePass a shot and go give it a try. So I think it's working out pretty well. All right, let's move on now to the final question I'm going to take from email today, and then I'm going to go over to the live chat board and take the live questions from you guys. And the final email question coming in here today is from Kyle Carnahan, who writes, I know X-Men Dark Phoenix started shooting a little while ago, but on movies like that, production usually lasts a couple of months. Also, Glass just started shooting. So my question is, how is James McAvoy doing both at the same time? Well, thanks a lot for the question. And X-Men Dark Phoenix it did start shooting a while ago. So they're getting actually close to the end of their photography. They're getting close to the end of production. Still have a long way to go on post-production, but they're getting close. And they have just, was it 2 weeks ago? They started shooting Glass. Maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure. How can that possibly happen? How can James McAvoy do both? Well, the reason is this, is that just because X-Men Dark Phoenix, say, shoots for 12 weeks, okay, that doesn't mean that James McAvoy is shooting for 12 weeks. They may very well have shot all of McAvoy's stuff in the first 2 weeks. They may have very well shot all of McAvoy's stuff in the middle 4 weeks. So they don't shoot, when they're shooting the movie, they don't have everybody there for every single day of shooting. Not everybody is on screen for every single scene. So a lot of times they will try to arrange the shooting schedule. And this is, the job of the line producers and things like that, figuring out the scheduling, getting all this worked out, getting all that down to a T, and figuring out when certain people are available, when is the most effective way to shoot which scenes in which order, on which locations, and on which days, so we can get an actor in and get an actor out. So James McAvoy, it's very likely, probably has already finished his shooting on the upcoming X-Men movie. Alternatively, maybe James McAvoy isn't done his shooting on the X-Men movie. But just because they started shooting Glass doesn't mean they need James McAvoy there. Remember, Chris Evans didn't show up to start shooting his X-Men Infinity War stuff, or X-Men, Avengers Infinity War stuff, till like 4 weeks after they started shooting. Because they decided, hey, let's get all of Robert Downey Jr. stuff out of the way. Then let's do the Robert Downey Jr. with Chris Evans stuff. And then Robert Downey Jr. can go and we don't need him for the last 6 weeks of shooting, whatever. So James, just because Glass has started shooting, that doesn't mean that James McAvoy has started shooting yet. They may not need him for another 2 or 3 weeks. So yes, it is very easy and very possible and very normal for an actor to be in 2 different movies that are actually shooting at the same time, and there be no scheduling conflict because they already arranged that when he's shooting his stuff on one movie won't interfere when he's supposed to be shooting his other stuff on the other movie. So just because the movies are shooting at the same time doesn't mean James McAvoy is shooting at the same time. But very good question. All right. Let's move on now to the live Twitter questions. Once again, if you guys are watching this show live right now, you can get a live Twitter question on simply by tweeting me at John Campea, and make sure you guys are following me on Twitter at John Campea. So with all that out of the way, let me go over to Twitter. Remember, I don't have time to I don't have time to screen these, so some of these might be good, some of these might be bad. Let's just find out. The first Twitter question today comes to us from rdrago66, who writes, John Campea, what actor/actresses missed out being big movie stars? I would say Clive Owen and Lily Collins. Well, Clive Owen was a big star for a period of time. For whatever reason, he kind of dropped off the face of the earth, and he's no longer considerable a go-to guy. I don't know why that happened, but he was. You cannot take away that Clive Owen was a big star, at least for a while. Lily Collins, though, is one. Lily Collins, I feel like she was poised to become a really big star. Not sure what happened with her. I'm not quite sure what went wrong with that, but it's not like she's dropped off the face of the earth. She's still around, and she still could become one of those people. We'll see. All right, let's go to the next question. J Shadev 0803 writes, John, Spider-Man Homecoming box office fell by 62% when the Apes movie released. Do you think a similar situation could occur with Thor and Justice League? No, because Justice League doesn't open the following week. Thor Ragnarok will have already been in movie theaters for 2 weeks by the time Justice League opens. So the problem with the Spider-Man Homecoming and War for the Planet of the Apes scenario was that War for the Planet of the Apes was scheduled on the second weekend of Spider-Man Homecoming. That hurt both War for the Planet of the Apes and it hurt Spider-Man Homecoming. But the way movies move so quickly through theaters now, I actually think 2 weeks is an okay buffer. So are you going to see an effect? Sure. Could we see a 60 or 65% drop off for Thor Ragnarok from week 2 to week 3 because of Justice League? Sure. But that extra 10% doesn't mean nearly as much in the third weekend as it would have on the second weekend. So these are two completely different situations. That one extra week that exists between Thor Ragnarok and Justice League, then that occurred between Spider-Man Homecoming and War for the Planet of the Apes, that extra week buffer makes all the difference in the world, and it makes it a totally different situation. If Justice League was opening on Thor Ragnarok's second weekend, that would absolutely hurt Justice League and it would absolutely hurt Thor Ragnarok. But 2 week buffer, in today's day and age, I actually think that's okay. I think it's a very different situation. I think they'll be fine. All right, let's move on to the next one now. And the next one comes to us from Ryexen8, who writes, John, what Star Wars novel would you like to see? I'd like to see one on Finn being training with the First Order and Phasma. I did like the Phasma novel very much. But I feel the same way about the novels as I kind of do about the movies themselves. I want to see them get away from the characters we already know. Start writing some new stuff. Give us some new stories. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. All right, this one comes to us from Mickey7382. John, with the buzz going on around with Affleck really hurt Justice League. Also, could this be an easy out for both Warner Brothers and Affleck for the Batman movie? Okay, well, first of all, the decision's already been made about the Ben Affleck situation. I guarantee you that. This situation will have nothing to do with what happens with Ben Affleck and the DCEU moving forward. The decision about what's happening with Ben Affleck, despite what the PR machine out of Warner Brothers tries to get you to naively believe, the decision about Ben Affleck and DC was made long time ago. Long time ago. So this will have nothing to do with it. Maybe once they do make some announcements, maybe they'll pretend like this new stuff had something to do with it. It didn't. All this stuff was decided ages ago. So let's just get that out of the way. Second question, though, or the first question you bring up is a much more interesting question. Will the stuff with Ben Affleck that's going on hurt the Justice League box office? I will say at this point, no. I don't think so. Part of the reason now, whether it should or shouldn't, that's another debate. That's a debate for another time, and that's a totally different topic. But if you're asking me, will it affect the box office of Justice League? Right now, I will say no. Part of the reason that I'm going to say no for now, and why this could change, is look, Ben Affleck has been accused of a couple things that, if I'm not misunderstanding, like happened on camera. One of the big situations that saying he was groping some girl on camera, the girl has actually come out and defended Ben Affleck and saying that was all play for the camera. Off camera, he was always perfectly respectful to me. We were just playing along on camera and blah, blah, blah. So one girl's already defended him. The other stuff, not defensible at all. But in today's, from what I can see and from what I'm gauging public perception, again, whether this is right or wrong is a totally different issue. I'm just saying what I think the public perception is right now. The public perception is that Ben Affleck did some pretty jerk-face things. And maybe that makes Ben Affleck a jerk-face. A serious jerk-face. An ass of the highest order, maybe. But what we've seen in the Ben Affleck situation, and maybe I'm totally wrong about this, is not on the same level as what we've seen in the Harvey Weinstein situation. Ben Affleck hasn't been accused of rape. Ben Affleck hasn't been accused of a lot of the things that Harvey Weinstein is accused of, that I think everybody will acknowledge was on another level. That's another level. The stuff that Ben Affleck is being accused of is completely inappropriate, completely makes him an ass, completely makes him a jerk if that's the stuff that he's doing. And if we find out there is more to this, that could affect things. But I believe that the public perception right now is that it's not on the same level as the Harvey Weinstein stuff. So I don't know that the public is going to really care that much. Whether the public should care, that's another topic. That's an issue we could talk about, but that's outside of the scope of us just talking about movies. But whether or not the public does care all that much right now, I'm not sensing that the average movie-going public is caring all that much, other than saying, oh, that Ben Affleck might be actually kind of a jerk and kind of an ass. But I'm not sensing that Ben Affleck is a monster like we're getting from the Harvey Weinstein situation. Because of that, I don't think, for now, the Ben Affleck stuff will affect the Justice League movie. I'm not trying to downplay what it is that Ben Affleck is being accused of. Not at all. I'm just saying what my interpretation of the public response has been. And if all you're asking me is, do I think this Ben Affleck stuff will affect the Justice League movie? I actually don't think it will. More stuff comes out, that totally changes the conversation. And once again, I know I've said this 2 or 3 times already, but it's so important it has to be repeated again. I'm simply addressing the question, will it affect the box office? The topic of should we be taking the Ben Affleck stuff more seriously is a totally different question. I'm just addressing the question of, will it affect the box office? And honestly, as of right now, I don't think it will very much. Maybe you guys have a totally different opinion of that. Jump down to the comment section and let me know what you think. All right, let's see. The next question comes to us from Future Hako, who writes, let's see. Any guess when we'll get the Punisher? I don't know. You know what? Here's the thing about Punisher. Somebody wrote in on the John Campea Show and asked, do you think that Netflix might just surprise everybody and just drop it without announcement? Just drop it and say, hey, by the way, guys, Netflix is on, or Punisher is on Netflix right now. And I said, no, get out of here. Netflix won't do that. They'll let us know about a month in advance. Blah, 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 blah. I'm starting to think I was wrong. I'm starting to think I might be dead wrong. Now, I do know that Netflix is very sensitive about the events that happened in Las Vegas. Understandably so. Punisher is going to be a very gun violence-centric kind of movie. I get that. But besides that, I am starting to think that that person who wrote into me on the John Campea Show a few weeks ago that, hey, do you think Punisher will just drop without announcement? And I said, that's a stupid thing. Of course they won't do that. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Let's put it this way. I am not going to be shocked if I'm getting ready to go to bed tonight and all of a sudden I get an email blast saying, Punisher now online. Like, I won't be surprised. I'm starting to suspect that they will just drop it. So when will they drop it? I've got to believe it's going to be before Halloween. It's got to be before Halloween. I would think. I don't know. Maybe they pushed it to 2018. I don't know. But I think it's going to be before the end of the year. That's what I think at any rate. Okay, let's see here. Next question comes to us from Jeannie Judd, who writes, The Last Jedi trailer. The background of the bookshelf reminds me of the Jedi Bendu from Rebels. Did you notice? To be honest, I did not notice. I didn't notice. I'll have now you've got me interested. Now I'm going to have to go back and take a look at that and see if that's actually the case. All right, next question comes to us from J Sutton 95, who writes, John, which Star Wars movie do you think has the best cinematography? I'm going to go Empire Strikes Back. Everybody knows Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie, but I mean, the Empire is special on so many levels. I think the cinematography in Empire Strikes Back might be the best that I've seen so far. All right, next one. A Puglia 1 writes, John, if Justice League smashes critically and at the box office, would they double down on the shared DCEU as opposed to standalone movies? Totally possible. Look, remember, I think Warner Brothers is just being prepared for the worst. Expect the best, prepare for the worst. That's what smart organizations and smart teams do. I think DC and Warner Brothers are expecting the best. I think they're expecting their movie to be a big success. I think they're expecting people to like it, and they're ready for that. But I also think they know, hey, we thought Batman versus Superman would go over great with everybody, and it didn't. So let's prepare for the worst. Let's prepare that, hey, let's say we put out Justice League and it doesn't work. Let's not get caught with our pants down. Let's be prepared to take everything and move it in a different direction. So I think that's just Warner Brothers being smart. I think that's just them knowing that, hey, we expect Justice League to be great. And we're ready for all of our other stuff when it's great. But just in case, if this doesn't work, that means, we've struck out a couple of times on some things. We're going to need to change directions. Let's be prepared to change direction if we need to. And I think they will be prepared. I think they're going to be prepared for both eventualities. I really do, because that's what smart companies do. And I believe Warner Brothers is a smart company. Okay, let's see. Next one comes to us from Real Bro Man writes, John, who would you cast as General Leia for Star Wars Episode 9? Elizabeth Hurley or Michelle Pfeiffer? Well, I mean, I love Elizabeth Hurley, but if you're... Look, who's the better actress? Michelle Pfeiffer is clearly the better actress. I'd go with the Streep Monster because she's like maybe the greatest actress of all time. I go with Meryl Streep. But if you're asking me between Elizabeth Hurley or Michelle Pfeiffer, I like Elizabeth Hurley very, very much. But Michelle Pfeiffer is the better actress, so I would go Michelle Pfeiffer. If that was my only choice. Okay, next question comes to us from Stig100-900 writes, John, how is Woody Allen able to make at least one movie every year for nearly 20 years? Woo! That dude is a machine. I mean, that guy can, hook up with his own stepdaughter and make movies like it's nothing. I mean, it's crazy how good he is. And not only does Woody Allen crank out great movies, and all the controversy surrounding Woody Allen aside, and I have my opinions about Woody Allen and his personal life and all the controversy that's surrounding him, I do. But if we're just talking about the movies, he's ridiculously talented, because not only is he completely prolific in how many movies he's able to produce and crank out, he cranks out good movies. I mean, so how a guy does something like that is beyond me. The dude's a machine. And he ain't a spring chicken anymore, and he's still doing it. So on that level, hats off to Woody Allen and what he's able to do. All right, let's go to this one. FUC Capitalism writes, John, when will we hear about a Nightwing movie? Keep up your good work, man. I'm from Montreal. I love Montreal. Montreal's a beautiful city, great university town. Yeah, me and my friends used to go to Montreal. Anyway, I have some pretty good memories from Montreal. Out of the way. When will we hear more about the Nightwing movie? To be honest with you, we're not going to hear anything till after Justice League. Again, I think that a lot of DC's future plans are fluid, and a lot will depend on how Justice League is received and how Justice League does. If everything goes according to plan, we're going to hear a bit more details on Nightwing, I think, by February. If things go badly, we may never hear of the Nightwing thing again. I mean, so really, I believe it's that type of situation. I think we're in a situation where Warner Brothers is being very wise. They're being very cautious. They're being very deliberate. They're being very methodical right now because they understand and they recognize the situation that they're in. So don't expect to hear anything significant until after Justice League not only comes out, but after the dust settles and we really see where Justice League landed and how it was received and how well it did. Until that happens, don't expect to hear much. Okay, I got time for just a couple more here. And we're going to go to, let's see, where did it go? I lost my place. Here we go. Hen 1996 Hendron writes, John, which Disney Channel actor or actress would become an A-list actor or actress? Like, I watch the Disney Channel. I have no idea. Let's go on to the next one. Film in the can. John, what do you think the box office for the New Mutants will be, considering it's an incredibly different superhero movie? It's a great question. That trailer for New Mutants was not what I was expecting at all, but I think I liked it. I'm still off guard. I'm still off balance because it was not. I know the director said it's going to be a horror movie, but I thought he was just saying that. Then this trailer comes out and it's legit. No, this is a horror movie. If they didn't say the word mutant in it, I would never even guess that it was an X-Men movie. I talked about it the other day. So I'm still completely thrown off balance by it, but I think I liked it a lot and I'm intrigued, but I am completely intrigued. Fox has been doubling down on trying some different stuff. Like, we all look at Deadpool now. It's like, oh yeah, no brainer. That was a huge risk. Them doing Deadpool was a huge risk. Them doing Logan the way they did Logan was a huge risk. That was so outside of the norm for what they had been doing with their stuff. It was totally different. Fox is showing once again, we're not afraid to try something new and different. And they've gone like full-blown horror film on us. You know what? No matter how this movie turns out, let's say New Mutants turns out to be the worst movie since 50 Shades Darker, okay? Even if it turns out to suck, respect. Respect to Fox for continuing. And you know what? They didn't just roll the dice once with Deadpool. They said, okay, let's roll the dice again. Let's do it with Logan. And now they've gone, you know what? Let's push the envelope even more. Let's try something even more different with like an all, mid to low budget horror movie feel with New Mutants. And let's try it. And like I said, even if this movie sucks, and it's possible it could suck, I still say respect. Respect to Fox for breaking so outside of the mold of what we have come to expect from our superhero genre movies, and for trying it. Hopefully it'll work. Maybe it won't. And maybe they'll never do it again. But you know what? Give them full credit for trying. They're trying. And that's gutsy. That's gutsy. Full. So all respect to Fox for that. All right, I'm going to take, say, two more here. Let's see. I am now going to screen the last two since these are the last two. So I'm taking a look on it. Let's see. Let's try this one. From Bob Linton, 1995, who writes, John, will the new Hellboy movie be the start of another cinematic universe? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see the movie. Let's see the movie, see if it's any good. I mean, obviously it's shaping up fantastic. They got great talent behind the camera involved. They got great talent in front of the camera involved. It could be gangbusters, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves with calling it the next cinematic universe before we even see a trailer or frame one of the movie. Okay, so hopefully the studio's not getting ahead of themselves either. Okay, and the final question I'm going to take today comes to us from Slim Jimmy, who writes, John, can you rank all the Star Wars movies and give us a guess on where The Last Jedi and Solo might rank? No, I'm not going to guess on The Last Jedi or Solo because I have no idea. How I will rank the Star Wars movies up till now. Okay, so in last place is Attack of the Clones. In second last place is Phantom Menace. In third last place is Revenge of the Sith. Then I'm going to go Rogue One. This is going up, by the way. This is going ascending order. So Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, The Force Awakens, Star Wars A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. So that's how I would rank them. Return of the Jedi, number 1, Empire, New Hope, The Force Awakens, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars. That's how I would personally rank the Star Wars movies. Jump into the comments section and let me know how you would rank the Star Wars movies. All right, guys, that will do it for me for this Saturday installment of the John Campea Show. Thanks so much for spending some of your weekend here with me. I will be back, of course, again tomorrow at 9 a.m. I like to do the John Campea Show on weekends at 9 a.m. Get it done early, but especially because on Sundays, that lets me get it out of the way before I watch football, which is another thing I love to do on my Sundays. So make sure you join me back again a little bit later today. I'm going to have my review for the new film Marshall should be going up. I put up my new review for the film Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman, about how Wonder Woman was created and the amazing story behind how Wonder Woman was created. One of my top 5 favorite films of the year. A little bit of a spoiler right there, but one of my top 5 favorite films of the year. Go check out my review. It's on my YouTube channel right now. All right, guys, that will do it for me for this installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, take a second, click that subscribe button, become a subscriber, become one of my Patreon supporters. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campea. Click the thumbs up button. Give this video a like. Make sure you leave a comment. And remember, we're all film fans together. We're all movie fans. We're all on the same team. So debate, discuss, disagree, argue, all that kind of stuff. But do it in a friendly way, understanding we're all on the same side together. We all love movies and TV. Make sure you keep that in mind. So thanks a lot for joining me, guys. My name's John Campea. And until next time, bye-bye.